One of my favorite shows of all times is Saber Marionette J. When it was released back in the 90s, it quickly became a classic. And why it shouldn't have? It's a great piece of work. This story is set in the future when planet Earth became overpopulated, so a way that humankind found to resolve it was sending humans to space to colonize other planets. We follow the story of the ship, the Mesopotamia. When the Mesopotamia was orbiting the new planet, an accident occurs and only one pod is able to escape the catastrophe. Only 6 men survive and they are in charge to rebuild civilization in this new planet called Terra 2. The problem is that there were only 6 men. With no women on the crew, they could not reproduce naturally, therefore they had to proceed to genetic engineering to produce population, which means that they cloned themselves. There were original clones, which were exact copies of the original 6, and secondary clones, which were clones altered to make them different, with different sets of features, skills, and traits. They divided the Earth in 6 different territories, or city-states, and each city-state is a recreation of the national origin of each man. On the series, we get Japanese, inspired on feudal Japan, which is our main setting across the story, Garland, a Nazi-inspired Germany, Xi'an, inspired on Imperial China, New Texas, which is modern United States, Petersburg, which is Soviet Russia, and Romana, a Renaissance period Italy. The only problem, however, is that they could not recreate women. Being only men survivals, a woman clone was impossible in this world. To fulfill women's role in society, they created androids with woman shape to assist them on daily tasks such as gardening, cleaning, cooking, and let's say other type of personal entertainment. 300 years has passed since then, and we are introduced to our main character, Otaru, an inhabitant of Japanese who is struggling to make it into society. One day he discovers one of these marionettes in a pot beneath a museum and wakes her up. He quickly realizes that this marionette is different from the others. She has human emotions. Early into the series, Otaru discovers other 2 marionettes with the same human emotions, but with different traits, which gives them all 3 different personalities. It's then when our hero is in charge on teaching these girls what humankind is and how to deal with their emotions. In the meantime, he discovers the ultimate purpose for the creation of these particular marionettes. Now, this is a romantic comedy adventure story. It is fun, it is light, and straightforward. The story overall has a wonderful meaning, and it aimed mostly toward teenagers and young people that can handle adult topics. The main theme of the series are human emotions. More than one time, the audience is exposed to feel the character's perspective and emotions toward another character, a situation, or a theme overall, being those war, love, and society struggles. There are 2 secondary themes across the series that the story handles very well, in my opinion, and very softly. The first one is LGBT, a society composed only by men. One must imagine that this plays out as a natural trend within society. The discussion is there. I would say like in Wonder Woman's Themyscira, an island full of women, even though that is there, is not on your face there, which means that serves as a background theme but do not make or take a main role overall across the story, except for one main character that I will discuss later. The second background theme is the depiction of women and what role women should fulfill in our society. Now, this is a 90s anime show, so you won't be exposed to anything that you haven't seen before on an average anime series from that same period. Women are treated like objects throughout the series, but mostly because they are androids. However, treating female-shaped androids with human feelings like things, it feels rather uncomfortable, at least to me. The female outfits are mildly over the top, but without getting out of what it could be considerably acceptable. Women's sexuality is also discussed in a very light tone and not on your face kind of way. There are overall 9 main characters that drives the story, 5 heroes and 4 villains. The heroes being Otaru, his Saber Marionettes, and Hanagata, and the villains being the cruel Fausto and his own group of Saber Marionettes. Otaru serves as the main character of the show, and the story is told from his perspective. He's not a very complex character, although sometimes ambiguous. Let me explain. Throughout the show, you are not sure how mature this character is. He's not perfect, he has flaws, especially on his inexperience on handling human emotions. However, sometimes he's put in exceptional situations that seem above his experience, but he handles those situations pretty good. Sometimes he seems like an inexperienced teenager, but in other situations, a mature hero that goes for the biggest prize. The Saber Marionettes, Lime Cherry, and Bloodberry are the nitty gritty of the show. They bring what makes unique this show. There are three different and unique personalities that put Otaru in difficult situations that they have to solve together and are the main drivers to the story. From the three of them, Lime is the one that gets more screen time. He's the childish and fun of the group. Cherry's personality is mother-like driven and a bit more serious, and finally Bloodberry, the strongest of them that fit into the description of a mature, fun, strong, independent woman. Even if all of them show different personalities, all of them share the same love for Otaru as well, who sometimes have trouble handling them without picking a favorite one. Hanagata is the last of our heroes. He is the stooge of the story and is constantly denied by the group because of his snob personality. What is great about this character is his egocentricity. He believes he is better than the rest, even though he is just a loon. Now, this is the only character in the whole series that is openly gay, in a male-only society, which is intriguing to say the least. His obsession for Otaru and constant rejection is one of the most recurrent themes on the show. Fausto is the ruler of Garland, a Nazi-themed Germany-inspired city-state. He starts the series as a flat, generic villain. He's obviously inspired in Hitler, but only in the warmonger trait. The series is very careful on handling racism. There is no depiction of it in the whole show. Not even Fausto can be considered a straight-out racist, although he thinks he is the best leader on the world and uses it as a public excuse to start a war with other city-states. By the third part of the series, the character starts to show more complexity on how he really is, which makes him by far the most interesting character in the show once you get there. However, it doesn't have several layers of complexity. He might have a couple, but the motives are very clear. Finally, his group of Saber marionettes, Lynx, Panther, and my personal favorite, Tiger. They serve as Fausto's special agents and are sent to secret top-level missions across the story. They are the counterparts of Otaru's marionettes and are capable of having human emotions, which are the main flaws in order to complete some of Fausto's goal. Overall, all of the characters are really fun, and even though sometimes it feels like some of them are overexposed and others deserve more screen time, their role on the story is above satisfactory, to say the least. Saber Marionette J's story is very well written overall. The series takes time to introduce the character, on world building, and explaining their motives and actions. However, there is some flaws to it because sometimes it feels that some episodes are throwaway stories. And to be frank, the series does not really take off until chapter 9. Before that, as I said, takes a lot of time on the introduction to the world and it hurts them overall. This is a very funny show. There is a ton of LOL moments, especially on how they are delivered. The show has a ton of original jokes that fits into the world and I just couldn't get enough of them. It is just that good. Although there are some repetitive jokes that are told across the show, that hurts the series overall. However, the way they deliver the jokes the first few times is really funny, but by the end of the show it gets predictable and the joke is the joke itself. Some jokes are childish, but others are really maturing content. That is why I wouldn't recommend this show to children, although the story is appealing to kids and has a wonderful meaning. Some jokes and themes are not just for kids. So if you're planning to let your kids watch it, I would recommend to watch the first couple of episodes by yourself first, so you are sure what you are getting into. There are some action scenes, but not that many. When there is, it happens really fast. No blood, no gore. Again, this is a light comedy, and the show really does not need them. The score feels flat and forgettable. Only the intro song is good and unique, although not the best I have heard. The story itself is straightforward, there is not multiple layers in it, and only a few secrets and twists. Some of them are pretty predictable. However, the characters' interaction with each other is very strong, and most of the jokes are really good. I will rate Saber Marionette J series a 7 out of 10. It's a must watch if you are a classic anime lover and if you are looking for a light-hearted story that will keep you engaged on its 25 episodes. By the way, if you're planning to watch it, there is a post-credit scene on the last episode, so stick around for that. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this, please share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you pretty soon.